taking his car to the garage. One of those drivers we talked about, Jeff, who came out of Daytona,
just about
not looking
couple
that
miles.
good. He wasn't quite as bad as some of the other guys.
From the Indiana
He
State
finished in the
line.
Daytona 500. He's in the garage. They think it's an
Approximately
axle
2
problem.
miles.
We'll follow up on that in a moment. Right now at lap 54, we're going back under the American Ethanol green flag. We're at Phoenix International Raceway. It is Juan Pablo Montoya and Greg Biffle. They lead the field in turn 1.
As some new faces to the front of the field here on this restart, and it's Montoya that gets the jump on the inside. Battling back outside, Eric Almirola, Ricky Stenhouse next in line.
Both Montoya and Almirola go to the inside of the apron through the dogleg, trying to get advantage over Greg Biffle. It doesn't work quite that well as Greg Biffle hangs on to the outside move. He takes the one top of the corner. A very good three-car battle for the race lead. Here comes Biffle charging up the outside. Montoya on the inside as they race back to 1.
Montoya a bit stronger in that outside lane, but he'll slip upon entry into turn number 1. Biffle takes the lead. Top side.
Holding counting now.
Looks to the inside of Montoya for second.
Biffle was not that happy with his car in practice. I'll bet he's happy now. He's got the lead by a car length over Juan Pablo Montoya. They're side by side for that first spot. That's where you'll find Ricky Stenhouse, Jr., Eric Almirola, David Dillon as well. Biffle starts to pull away by a couple of car lengths. Juan Pablo Montoya in second, immediately under attack from Ricky Stenhouse, Jr. in third.
Looking to the inside, going into turn number 1. They'll all fall single file through turn number 2. Now Stenhouse slides up the racetrack just a bit. Gives a good look to Eric Almirola.
A slight tap from Eric Almirola on the bumper of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. as they come through the dogleg. Now Almirola steps out of line, goes down to the bottom of the racetrack through turns 3 and 4. Stenhouse right there at his right elbow.
They're side by side for third. They are side by side for fifth. Here comes Casey Kane now down to the inside of David Gilliland, looking to pick up that.
All right.
David Gilliland's been strong on this restart.
Quickly approaching the Indiana State line.
That fifth position to Casey Kane. Here comes Kevin Harvick to the inside of Gilliland down for 6.
Gilliland will try to hang on to that 6th position, but he is under attack from Kevin Harvick. Harvick took a brief look down to the inside, now tucks back into line. Behind him,
Now in the end.
followed by Mark Martin and Jeff Gordon. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Motor Racing Network.
WCOM Defiance, Northwest Ohio's NASCAR headquarters. 105.7 The Bull.
You're in Indiana, Sean.
The Subway Fresh Fit 500 underway here at Phoenix International Raceway. 59 laps of 312 are complete. Alongside Jeff Striegel, I'm Joe Bohr, Kyle Rickey, and Dan Hubbard at the turns today on pit road and in the garage. Winston Kelly, Alex
Maybe
Hayden,
sometime later.
Steve Post,
I need to
and
charge my
Jim
phone.
Trado. Already 2 lead changes among 3 drivers, and a great battle continues as they work off turn number 2 for the 3rd spot.
And it's Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has it by a car length over Eric Almirola and a fast closing Casey Kane.
Casey Kane, definitely the man on the move from that 5th position. He looks briefly to the outside of Eric Almirola. Nothing doing there, but Casey Kane, the man on the move off turn 4.
Right now, Casey riding in position number 5. A moment ago, we mentioned that Martin Truex Jr. off the racetrack, perhaps an axle. Well, let's find out for sure as we head back to the garage.
Jeff, 5 crew members are underneath the Napa Filters Toyota on jack stands. 6 more are around the car. They're bringing parts at a frantic pace. They've got a rear end housing to change, so perhaps the axle issue is where the spline meets the rear end under the center of the car. They're changing the rear end. They've got a lot of team members here helping out. Brian Patty also ran back to check on the condition. He, the crew chief for Clint Boyer, to see if indeed he had the same setup or same issues or find out what the issue was. So Michael Waltrip Racing in effort with at least 15 crew members now surrounding the Napa Toyota in the garage.
Greg Biffle scored out front here at Phoenix. He had pulled away from Juan Pablo in the Chevy.
Possibly
but
3
now
trucks.
Juan Pablo is back to do some business. Took about 4 laps for Juan Pablo's car to come in, but he is right there. Look at the inside of Greg Biffle. Biffle throws on the block on turn 4.
And is there a problem for Mark Martin? He now pulls off the racetrack, and here comes the pole sitter, Mark Martin. Jeff Gordon stormed by him just a few moments ago, and then all of a sudden it was Carl Edwards, then Jeff Burton, and Brad Keselowski. So perhaps a problem with yet another Toyota. Mark Martin is on pit road.
And he's coming down to his pit stall. We're just making our way there. We're going to see if they've got some kind of tire issue for Mark Martin. He's pitted between turns 1 and 2. Here he comes to a stop. It looks like the car looks okay. They're going to change the right side tires on Mark Martin's car. They're filling it up with Sunoco fuel. We'll get back with you right away, and let you know exactly what the situation is.
Here's a battle for the lead, headed to turn 3. Juan Pablo Montoya is
Trouble in turn number 2. One car breaks loose. It is Dave Blaney up and into the outside wall off the front bumper of David Stremme. A one-car incident as they got into turn number 1. Under braking, Stremme got into the back of Dave Blaney's car. That car went spinning up and into the outside safer barrier, similar to what Kyle Busch did just a few laps ago.
Service Master Clean caution comes out yet again. Lap number 65, just as Juan Pablo Montoya had passed Greg Biffle for the lead. Back up to Kyle Rickey in turn 1.
Yeah, there was slight contact under braking into turn number 1, and it looked like David Stremme just drove in a little deeper, made slight contact with Dave Blaney, and the Sandy Chevrolet went around off of his front bumper, tagged the outside wall, and a lot of left rear damage now to Dave Blaney's car as he tries to limp it off the wall and continue on to this event.
The road is going to be open this time by, but let's check back in quickly with Winston Kelly.
Well, Mark Martin felt a vibration on the right side of his car and rather be safe than sorry this early. They're checking over those Goodyear tires, nothing visible that they see, but it's a right side vibration that Mark Martin felt. So they changed the right side tires and went ahead and topped it off with Sunoco fuel.
So we slow down the pace once again here this afternoon for the 3rd time because of a spin up in turns 1 and 2. Dave Blaney tagged the wall there. Juan Pablo Montoya is currently the race leader, followed by Greg Biffle, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Eric Almirola, and Casey Kane.
Hey there, Dale Jr. here. Around my place, I depend on this truck to get things done. And that's why I depend on Quaker State Defy to help keep it running strong. Quaker State Defy helps stop up to 98% of future engine wear. It'll help stop cam wear, it'll stop bearing wear. So while your odometer will keep on spinning, the wear will all but stop.
Defy time with Quaker State Defy motor oil, based on Sequence 4A wear test. Whether you long to see the majestic Rocky Mountains or the warm sandy beaches of Florida, get there in the Tom Johnson Camping Center RV. The nation's #1 rated RV dealer, Tom Johnson's service and selection are second to none, with one of the largest inventories in the country, from pop-ups to motorhomes. Check out the RV of your dreams, wherever you are, at TomJohnsonCamping.com, or visit our locations by Charlotte Motor Speedway and the Blue Ridge Mountains.
Hi, I'm Larry McReynolds. Join us next Wednesday for NASCAR Performance Live. Steve Addington, crew chief for Tony Stewart, will join us. Now it's back to Joe Moore and Jeff Street.
Still cleaning up after the spin over in turn 2 by Dave Blaney where he tagged the wall. A couple of the leaders were on pit road, Winston.
One of those who's been lapped down, but just going to get out in front of the caution car is Kyle Busch. They're still working on that left front splitter on his machine. They're using some pop rivets to put that spoiler section or the splitter section back on his machine. We had Casey Mears on this in the pit road, and Mark Martin, who went a lap down when he came down pit road to change those right side tires. He too coming back in and going to top it off with Sunoco fuel. Alex?
And Winston still chasing a very tight race car for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Another pit stop here. He's been to pit lane every opportunity they can get there. This time they put a spring rubber in the left rear. They also took some tape off of the grill. This car's still way too tight. Changed all 4 Goodyear Eagles. Topped it off with Sunoco fuel. Right side Goodyears for Ryan Newman. Danica Patrick also getting 4 fresh tires along with Marcus Ambrose. Steve Post.
Yeah, Clint Boyer down here, they didn't have a whole lot to lose. They had lost so much track position. They came in, got 2 tires, made a minor adjustment on it. Jamie McMurray was in the McDonald Chevrolet. Spent some time with crew chief Kevin Bono Mannion this morning, and he talked about the fact that they had a 32nd place finish at Daytona. And guys, this is something you talked about. They were going to be very conservative here, so they didn't have a lot to lose either. They figured put 4 Goodyear Racing Eagles on and get them back out with some fresh tires, and maybe as this thing uncycles or unfolds around, they can get some track position. But Bono Mannion, crew chief for McMurray, playing it very, very close to the vest and very conservative because they know they need to come out of here with a good run after that not-so-good finish at Daytona.
And we've just received the signal of 1 to go to get back onto the green flag. You know, every time a caution flag comes out, it's not good for some, good for others. In that case, a real good break for Mark Martin.
Well, you remember now he came down pit road, had those right side tires changed. As Winston reported, that put him a lap down. The caution flies shortly thereafter, and he gets the free pass. So Mark Martin comes back out onto the lead lap. He'll be shown back in 36th. Up front, though, it's Juan Pablo Montoya and Greg Biffle that will show the way. away. Going back under the green flag at lap 69 of 312 this afternoon. Juan Pablo, Greg Biffle, then Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Eric Almirola, and Casey Kane coming to the American Ethanol green flag to get back underway in the Subway Fresh Fit 500. It's in the air. There goes Juan Pablo. At least gets a fender out in front of Greg Biffle as they head to one.
And it is the red and white Target Chevrolet right now at the front of the field for Juan Pablo Montoya right to the bottom of the racetrack. But Greg Biffle, they have the advantage. In the back straightaway.
Biffle gets a nose out front, almost being pushed by Eric Almirola. Now Biffle clears the field. He's got the lead. Almirola to the outside of Juan Pablo Montoya. The fight for second off the
Very impressive move by Eric Almirola around the outside of Juan Pablo Montoya. Question is, Kyle Ricky, can he make it stick?
Now side by side for that
there's the water tower.
Be Montoya sliding up the racetrack. It nearly got into Almirola, who takes that second position.
Kevin Harvick says thank you very much. He works to the inside of Juan Pablo Montoya. Now that will be the duel for the third position. Harvick has the preferred line down low through turns 3 and 4. Juan Pablo Montoya right back. Not quite dead. Montoya still has third.
Reports from the garage indicate that Martin Truex's problem was something with the rear gear. And in the case of Martin Martin, it was a loose wheel. Leaders are back in turn 1.
Greg Biffle by 2 car lengths over Eric Almirola. 7 more. Back to a side-by-side battle for third. Harvick to the inside of Montoya.
Kevin Harvick will take another shot at it through the dog leg and up into turn 3. This time he clears Montoya into turn 3. He'll take over third, trying to protect that lower line. Montoya goes back to fourth. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. right on his bumper.
Here they come off of turn number 4. Hey, race fans, Jeff Gordon has teamed up with AARP, the AARP Foundation, and Drive to End Hunger. So people won't have to choose between keeping the lights on and paying for groceries, because right now that's a situation for nearly 9 million Americans 50 or older. Join in the Drive to End Hunger. Go to drivetotendhunger.org or text the word hunger to 50555 to make a $10 donation. A lot of people are struggling these days, but together we can help make them get back on track. For text messaging, message and data rates may apply. Lap 73 of 312 on the board. Greg Biffle leads Eric Almirola with Kevin Harvick in third, Juan Pablo Montoya fourth, and Casey Kane has just taken over fifth. From Phoenix International Raceway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
It hurts to have a cold. Not only are you congested, your body aches and your head aches. Fight the pain and the cold symptoms with Advil Congestion Relief. The only over-the-counter cold and sinus medicine that combines Advil with a proven decongestant to relieve the pain and sinus pressure that come with a cold. Advil Congestion Relief. Tough on pain, tough on colds. Use as directed.
NASCAR on 105.7 The Bull is brought to you by Terry Hendricks Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Archbold. Only your vehicle gets more attention than you.
The odds of this Alaskan-born pitcher being selected to the Major League Baseball All-Star Game 6 times? 1 in 48 million.
Tell I'm listening to a
The odds of this fast-falling philanthropist winning the World Series 3 times? 1 in 3 million. The odds of this man having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 110. Hi, I'm Kurt Schilling. Learn the signs of autism at autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
Greg Biffle shows the way here at Phoenix International Raceway. Eric Almirola has moved up into the second spot. Kevin Harvick is there in third with Juan Pablo Montoya falling to fourth. Another attack there by Casey Kane, who is in fifth. Sixth is Matt Kenseth. Seventh is Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Carl Edwards is running in eighth. Ninth is Jeff Gordon, and 10th is Jeff Burton.
11th right now, actually, is Brad Keselowski. He just got by David Gilliland, who is 12th. Kurt Busch, 13th. Tony Stewart, 14th. And 15th is Jimmy Johnson. 16th, Paul Menard. Joey Logano right now, 17th. Denny Hamlin, 18th. Clint Bowyer, good recovery for him. He's up to 19th, right in front of Bobby Labonte, who is 20th.
Taking you further down the AutoZone leaderboard here at lap 78. In 21st is where you find Marcus Ambrose. A.J. Allmendinger's 22nd. Ryan Newman, 23rd. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is 24th. And Mark Martin is in 25th. 26th is Jamie McMurray. 27th, David Reagan. J.J. Yaley, 28th. Danica Patrick, 29th. And David Stremme, 30th.
31st, Casey Mears. 32nd,
Going across the
Ruben.
Mommy River.
Third is Josh Wise. Travis Quaffle, 34th. Landon Castle, 35th. 36th, Scott Speed. 37th, Joe Nemechek. 38th, Kyle Busch. 39th, Schrader, and 40th is Dave Blaney. Right now, on the other side of the racetrack and in the garage, Mark Truex Jr., he's 41st, Mike Bliss 42nd, and Scott Riggs is 43rd, and that's a look at the AutoZone leaderboard. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Now, Ricky, things are starting to heat up a little bit for the second spot on the field. That is Eric Almirola trying to hold off Kevin Harvick. He's closing in.
And just 2 laps ago, Eric Almirola was challenging Greg Biffle for the lead, and now he has switched to playing defense and trying to fend off Kevin Harvick, who is right there within a car length of his rear bumper.
Kevin Harvick, who has logged so many laps here at Phoenix International Raceway, really knows his way around this 1-miler, starting to make life uncomfortable for Eric Almirola in that second spot. Harvick goes up high, looking to the outside of Almirola.
Looks like Greg Biffle kind of slipped up coming off turn number 4. Almirola able to cut it down to just 2 car lengths, and that's what he's got over Kevin Harvick.
And we're about to have a 3-car battle for the lead, led by the 3M Ford of Greg Biffle, but Eric Almirola within a car length of him, as is Kevin Harvick in third.
Biffle leads the field through the long leg. It's about 2 car lengths back to Eric Almirola, then another car length back to Kevin Harvick. They have separated themselves from the rest of the field. All hot blue, riding identical lines through turn 3 and 4.
We talked about Kurt Busch early in the race this afternoon, Jeff. The fact they thought they may have some overheating issues with that car. It looks like it's doing pretty well now, though. He's just outside the top 10, running in 12th.
A good run for Kurt Busch, and you know that, like we heard from Pit Road, everything is fine, at least at the moment. And the only thing you can do if you're Kurt Busch is just to soldier on. Keep the car running up front. He has absolutely no control right now over the water temperature, the gauges, whether they're red, green, yellow, it doesn't matter. And right now, he's doing a very good job riding along in the 12th spot right in front of Tony Stewart.
He's another one of the guys we talked about early on who had a bad speed weeks. He used up 2 race cars, crashed actually 3 times, and they lost a race car here in practice earlier in the weekend, so they really need to turn things around. And right now, doing a great job as he hangs in there in the 12th spot.
Well, and Postman, you've been monitoring what's been going on with
No
Kurt
full
Busch.
rain didn't get any snow, Dad.
Perhaps that water temperature beginning to peg. What's the
Kind
story
of
now?
strange.
They're fighting now. They had a pit stop. They're able to come in and make an adjustment on the nose of the car to get that taken care of. And we're talking about the situation they're in with some race cars. What is ironic about their situation now is that this is the only team based in the West Coast. Denver, Colorado, they're based on. So while other teams are busy trying to figure out how to get cars from the Charlotte, North Carolina area out here to Phoenix and out here for next week, this team's just going to take the short drive to Denver, short being a relative term, of course, short drive to Denver and have a normal week as they get ready for Las Vegas. So maybe that'll allow them to get some breath and kind of get their inventory of cars filled back up.
Greg Biffle's lead currently is just a couple of car lengths, if you will, over Eric Almirola, officially at 0.3 of a second the margin there. Kevin Harvick was closing in for a bit. He's kind of fallen back a little bit, maybe 2, 3, 4 car lengths back. It looks right now, Jeff, like Casey Kane might be the guy on the move.
Well, Casey was good on that longer green flag run before we had the caution flag that was brought out by Kyle Busch. So I would imagine, Kyle and Ricky, you've been watching Casey Kane. It looks like the longer we go, the better that Chevrolet for Casey Kane gets.
That seems to be the case right now. We saw that about 50 or so laps ago before the Kyle Busch spin, and we're seeing it again. We talked about a 3-car battle for the lead not 4 or 5 laps ago. Well, now Casey Kane is about to make that a 4-way race for the top spot, closing in quickly on 3rd place running Kevin Harvick.
NASCAR Race View Premium puts you in complete control for every NASCAR Sprint Cup race with 3D virtual video featuring multiple views, follow live race data, and customize the drivers you want to watch. Listen to live in-car audio as well as the radio broadcast. Subscribe at NASCAR.com/RaceView or download the RaceView mobile app today.
You're in your car. The driver next to you thinks he's on a racetrack, but you're cool with that. Because no matter where he zigs and zags, you've been to AutoZone. And you know your Duralast brakes can stop on a dime. So you step on yours and let him go flying past. Right into that speed trap up ahead.
Get to AutoZone for Duralast brakes, the official brakes of NASCAR. Designed for reliable stops every time. And they are only at AutoZone. Pick up the official brakes of NASCAR today. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Geico says, let's make life simpler.
You need to buy something, but you don't want to make a mistake. So what do? Scour the web, collect sales circulars, ask your brother-in-law? How about this? When it comes to car insurance, Geico has a 97% customer satisfaction rating. I repeat, 97%.
strategies. So why don't we follow up on some of those strategies and developing stories brought to you by Progressive Commercial Auto Insurance. Wherever your business takes you, nobody keeps you on the road like Progressive Commercial Auto. Visit progressive.com for a free quote today. We're going to start on the turn 1 end of pit road at Winston Kelly.
Well, one of those stories is going to be Greg Biffle. There's starting to be some activity down here in the 3 and 4 Fusion pit. He's one of those guys that pitted on lap 23. We heard from Matt Fuchs' crew chief they could go about 75 laps on green flag fuel. We had a few laps of caution flag, so expect them in the next few laps. Another guy on this end is just joining us, Mark Martin, who started on the pole, had the dominant car early on. He was one of the guys that did come in, or did not come in on that first stop, but came in on lap number 63. He came out and went into about 8th position. He had a vibration on the right side. They pitted. He's currently running in 24th. Denny Hamlin had to start at the back of the field. We thought he'd be a lot stronger. He's loose skin and tied off the first run. Not a whole lot better this run. He's currently running at 19th.
Ryan Newman has closed the wall of the right front of the machine. He's still under power, but there was heavy damage from the Newman machine on the right front.
Newman has been struggling with handling problems all afternoon, Jeff. Again, tagged the wall in turn number 3. Trying to make it back around the racetrack there in front of you, Kyle.
Right now, limping around the racetrack in the outside lane, and he is simply going to stop that car, or come really close to stopping the car in front of a big pack of traffic while Pablo Montoya, Matt Benson, Carl Edwards all having to go high and low around him, and now that car will continue on under power. But a close call a moment ago for the Quicken Loans Chevrolet and driver Ryan Newman, a lot of right side damage.
So he slapped the wall coming off of turn number 4, and Ryan Newman will bring out our 4th Service Master Clean caution of the afternoon. This caution flag coming out on lap number 98. Dan, it looked like that car just shot out from under him and into the outside retaining wall.
Jeff, there's not even skid marks here on turns 4. That's an indication that Ryan Newman didn't even have time to put on the brakes. He just shot up to the outside of turn 4. Again, as you can hear that when he made impact with the safer barrier, heavy damage to the right foot. Newman, however, still in the power and able to limp it back to the pit.
There he comes back to pit road. The right front down is on Newman Chevrolet, so they'll be headed in for service.
So the Service Master Clean yellow trucks are on the track. Once again, remember to call Service Master Clean if a problem in your home or business slows you down. If you experience a water, fire, or smoke damage, call the experts at Service Master Clean. They will restore your property and peace of mind in record time. For a location nearest you, go to ServiceMasterClean.com.
Okay, if you're thinking about getting a new car, you're probably thinking about fuel economy. Maybe you're thinking about what else you'll get or won't get with an engine that's efficient. You know, like plenty of torque, which you really need. Unless you're using your truck for convenience, you ain't getting anything done without it. Torque is power. It pulls trailers, hauls dirt, drags boulders. Torque is what gets the cap off your beer. And only the Ford F-150 with available EcoBoost has the best combination of torque and fuel economy, which comes in handy whether you're hauling a pile of lumber or a big stack of cheese and pepperoni pies. Think about that. Introducing the new 2013 Ford F-150, built for you.
Based on torque and EPA estimated 16 city, 22 highway miles per gallon. 3.5 liter V6 4x2. Glasses, full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds. GVW or non-hybrid versus comparable competitive engines. EcoBoost versus 2013 GM 5.3 liter, Ram and Toyota 5.7 liter, and Nissan 5.6 liter V8 engines. Don't drink and drive.
Under caution, pit road open, Winston Kelly.
2 tires for Brad Keselowski. He's the first out from this end of pit road, but it looked like Carl Edwards was first out total. Great timing. That caution flag for Greg Biffle. He came in and got 4 tires. They were only a couple of laps away from coming in. The rest of the guys on this end of pit road, Denny Hamlin in, along with Jeff Burton, Joey Logano, Paul Menard, among the guys pitting on this end of pit road. Alex?
Pit stop number 2 for Casey Kane, the Quaker State entry. 4 fresh Goodyears. He's been topped off with Sunoco fuel, sit back on the track. Same with Kevin Harvick. He's already made his pit work. 4 tires for him. Right side tires for Dale Earnhardt Jr. They continue to take swings at the chassis to try to get it to handle better. Juan Pablo Montoya spent some time at the front of the field. 4 fresh tires and Sunoco fuel for Montoya. Steve Post.
Yeah, down here, Tony Stewart went with 2 tires, gained some good track position as well. Clint Boyer, they got the handle back onto that 5-hour Energy Toyota. It was 2 tires for him. J.D. McMurray, 2 tires as well. In the 4-tire camp, Jeff Gordon and Eric Almirola. Winston mentioned Craig Biffle. Very fortuitous caution for those guys. The same for Eric Almirola, as they were within a lap or two of having to pit, and they were able to come in and do it with everyone else and maintain some form of track position here this afternoon.
So for the fourth time, different pitch strategies depending on which team we begin to talk about. Off pit road, Carl Edwards first out, Brad Keselowski second, Tony Stewart third, and Jimmy Johnson fourth in front of Kurt Busch, who comes off in the fifth spot. That's the top 5 cars off pit road, brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. You know that 2:30 feeling? You've hit the wall, but you've got to get stuff done. That's the time. 5 Hour Energy. 5 Hour Energy when you've got to get stuff done. From Phoenix International Raceway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
If you've been delaying that oil change, replacing those brake pads, or ignoring that check engine light, stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and use your tax refund to take care of problems you've been putting off. Spend a little of your tax refund on your vehicle now and avoid costly repairs down the road. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
If you are pregnant or planning a pregnancy, the Mercy Specialists in Obstetrics and Gynecology, Dr. William Reeves and Dr. Ann Greaves offer you complete pregnancy care. You'll learn what to do for yourself and your growing baby, and you'll have the confidence that comes from knowing that expert care and advanced testing such as 3D ultrasound are available when you need them. For appointments, call Mercy Defiance Clinic at 419-784-1414 or 800-9-CLINIC or Mercy Napoleon Clinic at 419-599-5600.
NASCAR on 105.7 The Bull is brought to you by Mercy Defiance Clinic and Hospital. Care you can believe in.
All lead lap cars have pitted, exception Mark Martin. He will lead the field back to the green flag. Carl Edwards second, Brad Keselowski, Tony Stewart, then Jimmy Johnson and Kurt Busch. Green goes back in the air. Mark Martin tries to get away as the American Ethanol green flag is waving.
And on those older tires, Jeff, by the time he gets to turn number 2, he has cleared Carl Edwards for that race lead. Battle for second. Keselowski now to the inside of Edwards.
And boy, they are almost leaning on each other through the dog leg up the back straightaway. Keselowski gets to turn 3 first. Carl Edwards goes back to third. It is Jimmy Johnson and Tony Stewart.
Well, the Ford's going at it there as a Toyota shows the way. Mark Martin back down to the line. Keselowski gets by. Edwards is second. Now we're racing behind them.
There's Jimmy Johnson to the inside of Tony Stewart. Stewart hooked up in that outside lane. He's going to hang on to the 4th spot. Johnson in 5th. A moment to go for A.J. Allmendinger, nearly tagging the outside wall in turn 2.
Top 7 cars go single file into turn 3. It is Mark Martin showing away by a car length over Brad Keselowski. Carl Edwards in third. A hard charging Tony Stewart.
So Mark Martin stays out on the racetrack. He was running in the 24th position, not anymore. He's out front. Keselowski second. Carl Edwards is third.
Back up from third on back. Carl Edwards has that third spot, and it's back to Tony Stewart, Jimmy Johnson, Kurt Busch, and Clint Boyer.
Johnson might start to feel some pressure from Kurt Busch through the dogleg. Busch starting to reel in Jimmy. Brett would be the fight for the 5th position, and behind Kurt Busch, that's where you'll find Clint Boyer. They're all nose to tail off the corner.
Boyer's on the move, drives right down to the inside of the track. Remember, he had the incident with Travis Bump off the road earlier this afternoon. That is not hurting him now.
That's the battle for the 6th spot, entering turn number 1. Kurt Busch has it. Clint Boyer has looked to the inside the last couple of times by, but has to fall back in the line. This time by within a car length.
And right now, Jimmy Johnson able to pull away from Busch just a little bit, puts the gap at about 2 car lengths. It is still Busch trying to hold off Clint Boyer. Last time around, Busch washed up a bit. This time he protects the low line.
Jimmy Johnson's got 5th. Kurt Busch has got 6th. Then Clint Boyer, he's got 7th. A good 3-car battle there.
Just inside of the top 5, led by Jimmy Johnson, has about 5 minutes and a half over Kurt Busch. Next in line, and then one more back to Clint Boyer, still looking to the inside for that spot.
Now Boyer got a good run off of turn 2 and through the dog leg. This time the gap is only half a car length, but is he close enough to pull out the pass? For the moment, Kurt Busch is able to hang on to that 6th spot.
Meanwhile, Kyle Busch still runs 1 lap down. He's in the 36th position. Looks to be up to speed. The good news for him, he's the first of those cars 1 lap down. So next caution, he'll get the free pass.
Well, he's looked very good ever since that incident that when he spun up in turns 1 and 2, they did a lot of fixing on that Toyota. And the point is right now, Dan Hubbard, he's as good as he needs to be. He just needs to get back on the lead lap.
And there's Kyle Busch is really ensconced in traffic jam, and it's going to be tough on Kyle Busch to negotiate that. Right now he's just trying to bust out of the box. I mean,
rear of the field today. Kurt currently running in 6th, and Denny Hamlin has climbed the leaderboard. He's up to the 11th position. The lead belongs to Mark Martin. He has 5 car lengths on Brad Keselowski, about 3 back to Carl Edwards in 3rd. Tony Stewart is in 4th, and rounding up the top 5, Jimmy Johnson. Then comes Kurt Busch, Clint Bowyer, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Kevin Harvick, and Eric Almirola, Kyle.
Things beginning to tighten up at the front. Mark Martin has it. Then it's going to be about 5 car lengths back to Brad Keselowski. Behind Eric Almirola, we find Denny Hamlin, who's been also marching his way up through the field. Moved around Greg Biffle to take that spot away just a lap ago.
Hamlin running by himself between Almirola and Greg Biffle. However, Clint Bowyer now has finally gotten around that Kurt Busch, and Busch now falling into the grasp of Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Jump up a couple of spots. Tony Stewart going to work on the back end of the Ford. And 7.
Angola. Wise at 4. And the bear.
Hang on, but for now, tattoo my name. Junior trying to protect the 8th position from Kevin Harvick. They were only a car length and a half, and now they just mirror each other, shadow each other, both right in the low line off turn 4.
You know, Joe, Dale Earnhardt Jr. was a driver that we spoke about early in the race that wanted an early caution flag because he was going backwards, and we talked about that opportunity to get onto pit road, make those adjustments, get with the weather changes that have been outside. That really threw a curveball to these drivers and these teams, and the opportunity to get onto pit road, make some changes, apparently working for Dale Earnhardt Jr.
They seem to have the car going in the right direction, and of course Junior has a lot of success here at Phoenix with 2 victories, although they were a long time ago, 2003 and 2004. Since then, only 1 top 10 finish. That's in the last 8 races, so he's hoping to rebound here today, and right now seems to have the handle on that Chevy.
He works the back straightaway. He's got Kevin Harvick right behind him. They're in turn number 3.
Actually, Junior is able to pull away just a little bit from Kevin Harvick. Junior, in an effort to catch Kurt Busch, that'll be the struggle for the 7th position.
Harvick may be falling into the grasp of Eric Almirola now as he starts to wind that Ford up once again in turn 1.
Been a great day for Eric Almirola, running the penny blue colors on that farmland Ford here this afternoon in Phoenix, and he's running well in the top 10, continuing to close in on Kevin Harvick.
Lots of power for Eric Almirola off of turn 2 in the downhill, through the dogleg, now up the sliding incline into turn 3. Pulls within 2.5 car lengths of Kevin Harvick.
Well, there's a number of drivers that we haven't talked about in a while. Jeff Gordon among them. He's back in 20th. We haven't talked about Ryan Newman in a while since he slapped that outside retaining wall. He's back in 37th. Kyle Busch still rides, as Joe reported, a lap down back in 36th. Now, Jeff Gordon, Steve, was a driver that we were talking about a lot early on, riding inside the top 10. What's the issue there?
Well, they've been just fighting a very loose condition, meaning the rear end of the car wanted to slide out,
something
just
to eat,
not
so
happy with the race cars at all.
turn off the camera.
On lap 100, the most recent one that we
That's
had,
it for now.
a couple things happened. They took a little extra time to make the cut.
All right, we're back, everyone. Heading back on 69 southbound. Northbound. We're going back on Interstate 69 northbound, going towards Marshall, Michigan, and going out of Auburn, Indiana. as I did of Interstate 69 going north. Both one at night. This one's approximately running during the daytime.
Your computer and like us on Facebook. 955FM.com.
Service Master Clay caution number 6 on the racetrack right now. That the drivers having to work.
That's the other thing up here, Sean. In the summertime, it'll stay light up here until about 10:30 at night.
On the outside, safe barriers.
Like that.
Just about a month as they work out right out from straight out. They have opened pit road and all
We're right on the edge of the central time zone. You go an hour. You go an hour west, you're in the central time zone.
And come in for service on the cars to get the top 5. Edwards, Johnson, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Kevin Harvick, and Ben Kenton. Steve Post.
Here's Jamie McMurray and Tony Stewart and others, but quick stop for race leader Carl Edwards. Winston Kelly.
Greg Biffle, screw good. They're going to go to work. They're going to do left side tires as well. Further up pit road, it's going to be right side tires for Brad Keselowski, and he's going to be away for just 2 tires for him. Looks like Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to be the first to get off of pit road, just in front of Carl Edwards and Jimmy Johnson. Also on this end of pit road, Denny Hamlin gets 2 tires, returns to the racetrack. Mark gets 2 tires. Carl Menard on pit road, right side tire for Jeff Burton as well. Alex?
It was 4 tires for Casey Kane. They initially wanted to do right sides only, but at the last minute, Kenny Francis, the crew chief, said, let's go ahead and change 4. So they're going to give up all kinds of track position. However, it was right sides for Jimmy Johnson, left sides for Kevin Harvick, Dale Earnhardt Jr. also taking right side Goodyears, everybody topping off with Sunoco fuel.
So Dale Earnhardt Jr. comes off of pit road and he will assume the race lead more than likely. We'll see how this cycles around, but the first off of pit road, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Carl Edwards will come off of pit road second. Then is Jimmy Johnson, Matt Kenseth, and teammate Denny Hamlin.
For Kyle Busch, bad luck once again. He keeps trying to get back on the tail end of the lead lap, but as other cars continue to go down a lap to the leaders, each time we get a caution, it goes to somebody else. That time it was J.J. Yaley. So Kyle still running very well, just about as fast as anybody out there, but still a lap down from the field. So he has 121 laps to get going back on the lead lap and maybe a chance to head back to the front of the field like he did yesterday in the Nationwide Series race, going to the rear, and he worked his way all the way back up and won convincingly in that event.
He had a dominant race car yesterday. He has a very good car here. Certainly not indicative of where he is running at the moment. 31st, 1 lap down.
All right, let's check in now on Ricky Stenhouse Jr., the Best Buy Ford. Started in the 12th position this afternoon. Ricky is currently running in the 24th position. Hey, Ricky, Joe Moore in the Motor Racing Network broadcast booth. Do you have a copy on us?
I got you, Joe.
All right, man, you've had an up and down day, but for the most part, you've been up there near the front of the field. How do you characterize what you've seen so far here this afternoon?
Yeah, we're just learning and, working together with Scott and these guys, just trying to figure out, he's trying to figure out how far we need to go on adjustments and things like that. Just new team stuff, but Best Buy Ford Fusion's been a little tight through the center. When we were up front, it was a lot better, so hopefully we can get back up there before the end of the race here.
All right, man, down to 120 laps to go. Hang in there. That is Ricky Stenhouse of the Best Buy Ford. Again, he's currently running back in the 23rd position, trying to work his way closer to the front. He was among the top 5 for a good part of the day, Jeff.
He's had a good race car. Like he said, he wants to get the car up front for obvious reasons, but maybe none more important than getting the clean air on these race cars. Well, clean air is what Carl Edwards will have. It's clean air is what Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to have. They are going to lead the field back to the green flag, which is set to come out right now. Jimmy Johnson will restart third. David Rudiman is going to restart up in that 4th position. Matt Kenseth, Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, Kurt Busch, Kevin Harvick, Clint Bowyer. That's your top 10. The American Ethanol green flag back in the air. Dale Earnhardt Jr. leads the field into turn number 1.
He'll lead them convincingly into turn number 1 on the bottom of the racetrack. Carl Edwards still in an outside lane. Falls back in the line now in second with Jimmy Johnson looking to his inside.
a cut run through the dog leg to the inside of Carl Edwards. That would be the struggle for the second spot, and Johnson's got it. Carl Edwards back to third. Here comes Matt Kenseth, and then Hamlin went side by side.
It was 3 wide going into turn number 3 between Matt Kenseth, Denny Hamlin, and Brad Keselowski. They sorted out at least a little bit this time in turn 1.
Single file forward now, except for Brad Keselowski. Look to the outside of Denny Hamlin for the fifth spot. Slid back in the line. Top 7 cars now, all get single file to the back straightaway.
Keselowski right on the rear bumper of Denny Hamlin. That's Toyota versus Ford for the 6th position. They are still nose to tail in the shadows.
Like a jailbreak here coming off turn number 4. Further back, Greg Biffle. You've got Jeff Burton. You've got Jeff Gordon. They're 2 wide, thinking 3 wide, back at 1.
Greg Biffle stuck in that outside lane, and then they cost him a couple of spots. Jeff Gordon goes by to the inside. Jeff Burton now goes by to the inside, and Tony Stewart has thought to does the same.
This battle is from 12th on back. That's where you find Jeff Burton.
Westbrook dribbles right by him, gets to the elbow area, and rattles down a jumper.
Hold him off board now as Boyer looks back to the inside. Further back, Greg Biffle's struggles continue as he continues to work the outside of the racetrack as Joey Logano to his inside.
Greg Biffle is getting a serious challenge from Joey Logano right behind them. It is Pablo Montoya and Paul Menard. This time Biffle backs it down just a little bit. As he turns 3-4 and is leading.
Now Greg Biffle continues to battle for position. Joey Logano also battling for position. Dale Earnhardt Jr. shows the way, but let's see if we can hear from Danica Patrick.
Glad to see she walked out of the care center, Danica. That was a hard crash. What happened?
Obviously I blew right front. No real warning. I wasn't that tight either. I was sliding a little bit, but I felt like most of the day I was chasing the rear, so it was a little unexpected, but I took a hard hit to the right and then on the left, and I'm fine. So the cars and the tracks are, I'm not really safe.
I'm tired.
One way to translate.
Secret society groups.
We ask you this every week.
They want to pay it forward. Good job to you, Trace. Let's
is a fallible collection of
Fresh cut fries and fresh squeezed lemonade, and this grilled to order sub is a dream come true, assuming taste buds do indeed dream. And so, my tasteful friends, if you haven't experienced a Penn Station sub yet, get ready for an unforgettable experience. And to those taste buds already familiar with Penn Station, you're welcome.
Now, enjoy this month's special at Penn Station for a limited time. Get a signature Philly cheesesteak, fresh cut fries, and a drink. All starting at just $6.99. Visit Penn Station today.
Hey, it's Brittany on Fort Wayne Rock Station, 98.9 The Bear. Good news, this next band is...
But I didn't have a clue.
96.3 hip hop and R&B. I was Juvenile right there.
Juice.
One of the toughest spots on the track, right behind him.
Damn it. Man, I swear I see your face in it.
Network, it might have been
adding some of the modern touches.
It's a nice hustle plays. He knocked away that one. He knocked away. The two conferences don't play.
The royal escape and a lifetime of memories awaiting you. Get started now.
You're looking for the...
Highly outclassed by Shot Rocket 4. It's usually the younger dogs that have speed.
Yeah, he doesn't. It's three. The deal. Rebound on the backside.
For a sit champ. And 4.
Puts you in complete control for every NASCAR Sprint Cup race with 3D virtual video featuring multiple views. Follow live race data. Customize the driver you want to watch. Listen to live in-car audio as well as the radio broadcast. Subscribe at NASCAR.com/raceview or download the RaceView mobile app today.
We are down to 103 laps remaining, and right now Dale Earnhardt Jr. is out front. His teammate goes second. That's Jimmy Johnson. The cushion, just 3 car lengths separating those two Chevrolets. From Phoenix International Raceway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Did you know that driving you have to wake up? It's human nature to want the most house you can afford. Heck, it's the American dream. But if you're not careful, that dream can turn into a nightmare right about the time the first mortgage payment is due. See us at any of our 8 locations in Northeast Indiana, including in Golden, Auburn, Kendallville, and
Making us the #1 fuel oil distributor in Brand County. Your philosophy to look 5 million gallons of gasoline diesel fuel last year. 1,600 more fuel with high cost of gas. We're all trying to make our business last a little longer. To make sure we're getting the oil and regular companies. Our facilities and our equipment provide assurance that your fuel and lubricants will be clean and secure without any contamination. Stop by Warner Oil today at 400 Ray Street in Coldwater or call our office at 517-278-1544. We're open Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Florida Basic Action is on AM 1590 and FM 95.5 and very convenient.
Back at the Phoenix International Raceway and the Subway Fresh Fit 500 for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Race number 2 of 36, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. right now showing the way. 212 laps down, 100 remain. Joe Moore and Jimmy Johnson is there. Matt Kenseth, Carl Lundgren, Brad Keselowski. Guys we've been talking about all afternoon.
I think a couple of guys maybe we need to talk about that we've not maybe said a whole lot about. One of those would be Matt Kenseth. You know, he's been kind of floating around throughout the field here this afternoon and kind of biding his time. He's running typical Matt Kenseth style, you know, hiding in the weeds and coming up towards the front near the end of the race. Maybe the same thing could be said for Clint Bowyer after having the incident on pit road early on this afternoon. He and Travis Waffle collided, had to beat the fender out of that car, and he had to go to the rear and work his way back up closer to the front. And there he is now in the top 10, running in the 7th position. Kurt Busch, we talked about his problems at Daytona last week, losing a couple of cars, wrecking several times. Coming in this weekend, wrecking a car. They had temperature issue early on this afternoon. He too has recovered nicely, and he also is in the top 10.
Well, I like what you said about Matt Kenseth. Boy, you go back just a week ago at Daytona, a dominating race car. Unfortunately, it came up short, and he finished 37th. They had an engine problem back then, and as you pointed out, just kind of quietly doing it Matt Kenseth sort of way, quietly going about his business all the way to 3rd, and Steve Colesnick got to be happy with the performance once again of that Toyota Camry.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Jeff. They are ecstatic with the performance at Daytona. They didn't get the results. Here thus far, they're doing really well. They've been a little bit loose out on the racetrack, meaning the rear end wants to slide out on it, but they've just been pickle and diamond, if you will. The changes on it. Justin Ratcliffe, one of the best crew chiefs in this garage area, has worked on this car with some air pressure adjustments each and every time. Now they're working the 4-tire, 2-tire strategy. One more pit stop. You
one of those green flag stretches. And Ricky, you've kind of watched this thing unfold all afternoon, 219 laps down. You have seen a variety of different drivers go to the front of the field. In fact, there have been 9 different leaders up front. Clean air, that seems to be the difference between running up front and just trying to catch the race leader.
That seems to be the key right now. If you're in the front of the field, you're in pretty good shape when you're accepting of a couple of lap cars that you may negotiate over the course of a long green flag run. Right now, I think Hendrick Motorsports, the class of the field in the form of Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Jimmy Johnson in the front. Was watching Casey Kane a moment ago. He's one of those drivers not in clean air and is fighting his race car, has nearly tagged the outside wall 2 of the last 3 laps. Right now is dropping anchor on that car. The last few laps for Casey Kane right now struggling mid-pack.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s lead is just about a half second currently over Jimmy Johnson. The rest of the top 5 are Matt Kenseth, Carl Edwards, and Brad Keselowski. Let's take a moment and talk about A.J. Allmendinger returning here today at Phoenix International Raceway. You know the whole story of last year with him failing the drug test and being out of a ride at Penske and then coming back to work with James Metch at Phoenix Racing. He's in the car this week. Austin Dillon will drive the Phoenix car, the Guy Roofing car, next week in Las Vegas. I think AJ's back in at Bristol. Ryan Truex is going to drive at Martinsville. I was talking to Steve Bartel, the team general manager today, about that. And, this is kind of an odd way to do it. Musical drivers, if you will. I don't recall anybody ever doing this quite this way. And he says, well, that's the way James Metch is. He's not conventional at all. And we look at this as being a great opportunity to draw from this driver pool. All these different drivers come in. They all have different ideas, different concepts and beliefs. He said, we put all that information into one big pot, stir it all up.
Up to the right, there's the Hampton Inn.
Well, I think you mentioned 4 drivers that will be driving that car, and there's another one in Regan Smith. He drove the car at Daytona, and it's kind of like a good news, bad news. You've got to focus on the good, and the good is what you said. You're going to get a lot of input. Now, the bad news is that you get a car set up for one driver, and he's out, and you've got another driver coming in. So, Steve Post, when you do this kind of rotation of drivers, you can learn a lot, but you can also lose a little bit in the process.
Well, you lose that week in and week out chemistry, there's no doubt about it. But focusing back a little bit on A.J. Allmendinger, what any team operator, owner, team crew chief, team leader, competition director will tell you is, I want a hungry driver. And man, I'm telling you what, there is probably no driver hungrier than A.J. Allmendinger to get his name back, to get his reputation back, and to get him back established into this NASCAR Sprint Cup Series garage area. He is a hungry race car driver. Their strategy today has been hanging on to the lead lap. Right now they're in the 20th spot. What has put him back there is, on that last pit stop, they took 4 tires. So, they gave up a little track position, but they know on this final pit stop, it will be a 2-tire stop. So they're hoping to gain some of that back. The Guy Roofing Chevrolet's been pretty solid. Harrison, the crew chief, as always, does a fine job calling the shots. And we'll see how Harrison, as the crew chief, and that hungry driver, A.J. Allmendinger, can finish this one out here at Phoenix, which has been historically a pretty good track for A.J. Allmendinger.
Now, Postman mentioned the fact of they're hoping that things will work out for them as far as their pitting strategy. And really, Alex Hayes, if you look at the way this race has gone from the very first caution we had this afternoon, the pitting strategy started then, and it's been about 4
Well, goodbye, Indiana.
Going on all day.
Hello, pure Michigan.
About that first caution that came out, a lot of the drivers came down the pit lane back on lap number 22, while others stayed on the racetrack. That forced them to come to the pit lane on lap number 49. Since then, we've had a couple of different scenarios ongoing. Here in the last couple of cautions, however, just about everybody's gotten back on sequence as far as what lap they're coming down the pit lane. Now, exactly what kind of strategy these teams are doing as far as the adjustments, as far as 2 tires, as far as 4 tires, there's all kinds
I've been for about 10 miles.
When the tire went down, but still a lot of race time damage. Unfortunately, the only car involved that was on the racetrack David Gilliland,
You didn't see the sign that said Pure Michigan?
Service events for clean caution of the afternoon, and more than likely our lead lap cars will be on the pit road in about a lap or so.
Jeff Gordon has teamed up with AARP, the AARP Foundation, and Drive to End Hunger. So people won't have to choose between keeping the lights on and paying for groceries, because right now that's the situation for nearly 9 million Americans 50 and older. Join in the Drive to End Hunger. Go to driveToEndHunger.org or text the word hunger to 50555 to make a $10 donation. A lot of people are struggling these days, but together we can help them get back on track. Text messaging, message and data rates may apply.
Well, pit road is open. Alex Hayden and the leaders are in.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. left side tires. Jimmy Johnson left side Goodyear Sunoco fuel. Everybody down here looks like it's going to be left side tires in the midsection. Winston Kelly.
Right side tires for Greg Biffle, but it looked like a gas and go for Denny Hamlin. But he's not going to be out first. It's going to be Carl Edwards, then Dale Earnhardt Jr., then Jimmy Johnson. Mark Martin with 2 tires. Joey Logano on pit road. Same thing for Brad Keselowski. Everybody on this end of pit road, again, with different strategies, but it looked like a gas and go. The quickest for Denny Hamlin. Steve Post.
Not sure what Carl Edwards did. He's down on the other end of my pit road, looking out there and see if it was indeed a gas and go. Most of the guys on this end of the pit road, it was 2 tires. Some 2 tires for Clint Boyer. He picked up a couple of spots. 2 tires as well for Tony Stewart. Jeff Gordon, 2 tires. And Eric Almirola, 2 tires as well on this front lane.
All right, that brings us down to 73 laps remaining this afternoon. And Alex Hayden, everybody should be set to go from here, right?
It's going to be awfully close. We were told a maximum of 77 laps, but we haven't seen anybody go near that as of yet today. So this is going to be right on the actual very razor thin edge of if they can make it the distance from here on out as far as the Sunoco fuel goes.
Caution laps will help. It looks like we're going to have at least 1 or 2 more before we get back under the green flag. And again, all the planning, all the scheming on pit road, all the different strategies we talked about. When you have a caution flag getting later into the race like that, that sort of erases all that planning.
Well, and that strategy has paid off once again for Carl Edwards. Dale Earnhardt Jr. out second, Jimmy Johnson third, Denny Hamlin fourth, and Clint Boyer coming off of pit road fifth. And you just heard Winston and Steve and Alex talk about the varying strategies on pit road. You come down, you take right side, you take left side, you take 4 brand new Goodyears, and then you just got to hope for the best. And hoping for the best and finally paying off for Kyle Busch. He was about to lose that opportunity as that caution flag came out. If Jimmy Johnson would have been able to get by J.J. Yeley, Yeley would have gotten a free pass. He wasn't able to do that, and after 190 laps of trying, Kyle Busch is back on the lead lap.
And shown in the 23rd position. Wouldn't that be a miraculous recovery? Yesterday in the nationwide race, Kyle was the pole sitter, class of the field, got busted for speeding on pit road, went to the rear, charged back to the field, and won the Nationwide Series race convincingly after going a full season last year without winning in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. He's hoping for that kind of a miracle here today. And again, let's go back to our opening storyline of those guys who started off the season last week at Daytona in bad shape, and Kyle's right there on that list.
Well, Kyle was definitely on that list. Finished 34th after they lost a motor in that Toyota Camry. Other guys on that list trying to rebound from a tough afternoon last Sunday at Daytona. Kevin Harvick was 42nd. He's had a good run all day. Right now he is 8th. Tony Stewart finished 41st. Right now he's being shown in the 10th spot. Matt Kenseth had a long afternoon blowing an engine in that car. Matt is up to 7th. So there's just an example of some guys that are trying to rally back, put a good finish in the books, get out of Phoenix and move on to Las Vegas, feeling like they've got things pointed in the right direction.
Yeah, enter the list, the Earnhardt Ganassi guys, Juan Pablo Montoya and Jamie McMurray, both crashed out last week and finished below the 30th position. And currently today, they are both in the top 20. So hoping for a little bit of salvation, if you will, coming into race number 2 as we move on into the season. Again, just kind of getting started with what we call the regular season this year.
And we also want to just update you, we talked about all those varying strategies. Carl Edwards, Hamlin, and Johnson. So Carl Edwards, who's out first, Jimmy Johnson, who was out third, and Denny Hamlin, who came off of pit road fourth. 2 tire stops for those teams, and as Alex Hayden reported a moment ago,
find out if they've got enough fuel to go the distance.
Jimmy Johnson's already thinking about that.
Jimmy, we're a little light on fuel.
They got Gander Mountain.
Looks like we're going to try to get ourselves about a gallon throughout the
over in Coldwater.
That'd be the same for everybody else, right? Oh, just, you don't know. How's that?
You don't know. Nobody knows. As Alex said, it's going to be real close here, these final 70 laps here at Phoenix International Raceway. They're stacking up in turn number 4. Pace car hits the pit road. Carl Edwards and Dale Earnhardt Jr. alongside for the restart. Jimmy Johnson, Denny Hamlin, and Clint Boyer, the rest of the top 5.
Waiting for that green flag to come out. Now it does at the start-finish line, and Carl Edwards is gone. Long gone. 2 Chevrolets will battle for second.
He's already been able to break away by 2 car lengths over a side-by-side battle between Jimmy Johnson and Dale Earnhardt Jr. for second. Then it's Clint Boyer and Denny Hamlin 4th and 5th.
Battle for second goes away in a hurry as Jimmy Johnson will take it. Dale Earnhardt Jr. goes back to 3rd, side-by-side for 4th. That's Denny Hamlin and Clint Boyer there. 2 by 2 by 2 from 4th on that.
Front 3 cars, nose to tail, coming up off turn number 4. Then it's double wide like the initial start this afternoon. Brad Keselowski switches lane, falls in behind Clint Boyer in turn 1.
Takes his nose to the inside of the racetrack, does Brad Keselowski, but loses a bit of ground this time on Clint Boyer. They are side-by-side behind him, though.
Brad Keselowski may took a look at the rearview mirror because he's got a hard charge, and Matt Kenseth and Kevin Harvick, they are almost on his rear bumper while being side-by-side. Here comes Kenseth trying to eke out an advantage over Harvick.
That is the battle for the 7th spot. Downstairs, you've got Matt Kenseth right to his right elbow. That is Kevin Harvick.
Kevin Harvick making that outside lane work so far. Pulls out by a half a car length in a side-by-side race for the 7th spot. There's Matt Kenseth back to the inside.
Behind them, Jeff Gordon stepped out of line. He was trying to make a move on Tony Stewart. Nothing doing there. In fact, Stewart separates himself from Gordon up in front of Tony. That's where you'll find Matt Kenseth. He bobbles in the center of the corner. Kevin Harvick will take the spot.
Casey Kane with a close call once again. He scrubbed the wall last lap between turns 3 and 4 and lost about a half dozen spots. Up front, Carl Edwards, Jimmy Johnson. They take him off turn 2 with Earnhardt Jr., Denny Hamlin, and Clint Boyer behind.
Top 5, top 6, separated by an equal distance of about 3 car lengths each. Then you'll find Brad Keselowski behind him, Kevin Harvick and Tony Stewart. Here comes the first side-by-side battle. Joey Logano and a hard charge of Jeff Gordon.
That is the battle back there at the 9th and 10th spot. You've got Joey Logano, then you've got Jeff Gordon. Throw Mark Martin and Juan Pablo Montoya into that battle also.
Joey Logano took that spot a moment ago from Jeff Gordon. About 2 car lengths behind Gordon is where you'll find Mark Martin trying to fend off Juan Pablo Montoya.
Joey Logano wants no part of Gordon, so he pulls away from him. Here comes Mark Martin and Juan Pablo Montoya nose to tail. Although Juan Pablo Montoya gets the left side tires inside the apron.
That's the battle for the 12th position. Behind them, Paul Menard trying to make a move on Greg Biffle. Next down to the inside of off turn 4.
Falls back in the line, though, does Paul Menard on Greg Biffle. That pack of traffic goes side by side. Also a half a lap ago, Kyle Busch nearly getting the outside wall of the back straightaway. He too falls back in the line at the back of the pack.
Greg Biffle had his handling problems all day long, and right now he's desperately trying to hold on to that 14th spot. He drifts up the baby, but so too does Paul Menard.
Well, Kyle Busch, just a moment ago, you heard Kyle Rickey say that Kyle got the, or almost got the outside retaining wall working the back straightaway. I'm not so sure he didn't get it coming off of turn number 4, Joe. He got way wide. Looked like he got up against the outside safer bearing. Of course, right now, Kyle pedaling for all he can to try to climb back and contend with the leaders.
It didn't seem to slow him down too much. He's still up there on the lead lap as we come up on 63 laps remaining at Phoenix.
Joey Meyer, spotter for NASCAR Cup champion Brad Keselowski here for FanDuel. Winning a Cup championship requires hard work, communication, great equipment, teamwork, and a great driver like Brad.
I'm Mike Callanoff, spotter for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And when it comes to preparation, communication, practice, qualifying, and races, FanVision delivers, helping me and other top spotters keep our drivers dialed in. Right, Chris?
That's right, Mike. Hey, it's Chris Lambert, spotter for Denny Hamlin. The 3 of us never go to the spotters stand without our FanVision.
With FanVision, you'll have the live race, including the radio broadcast, 8 in-car cameras, instant replays, a digital radio scanner, real-time stats, driver info, Twitter, and more. In fact, the Cup champ uses a FanVision too, but we have to remind him to keep his eyes on the track.
Rent or buy at fanvision.com/promo today, and you'll save some cash. Rent a FanVision for your next race right now at fanvision.com, and you'll be ready for a race weekend just like us.
NASCAR fans, get dialed in by visiting any FanVision or Racing Electronics location at the track.
Copy that.
For over 60 years, Wrangler's been making the most comfortable jeans. That's because Wranglers are made with a U-shape that fits around you, giving you more room where you need it most. Wrangler, real comfortable jeans. Well, it's coming down to crunch time here in Phoenix. 60 laps to go. Who has enough fuel to make it to the end? And who is on the edge? We'll find out when we come back. Right now, Carl Edwards leads Jimmy Johnson, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Denny Hamlin, and Clint Boyer. And from Phoenix International Raceway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
When you're healthy, it's easy not to think about ambulance service, but an emergency can pop up at any time.
Seniors are the highest utilizer of ambulance service, but you never know when that emergency may happen. It can happen to a child, to someone in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s.
Ron Slagle, CEO of Life Care Ambulance.
Insurance companies are having higher and higher deductibles. Most people think, hey, I got insurance, it's covered. Then they get their bill after the insurance pays, and oh wow, I've got a $250 deductible, a $500 deductible, a $1,000 deductible, maybe even more sometimes. So that's why people, they may not think, oh, I won't need an ambulance service, but for $38 a year versus what the deductible savings would be, that's why others should look at it as well.
For just $38 per year, your immediate family will all be covered for ambulance service. For more information or to sign up today, call Life Care Ambulance at 278-3367 or log on to lifecareems.org. It's a simple, affordable way to protect you and your family in the event of emergency. It's member care from Life Care Ambulance.
Hi, this is Carl Edwards. Your racing action is on AM 1590 and FM 95.5 WTVB.
Back at Phoenix International Raceway, Motor Racing Network, with live coverage of the second race of the year for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, the Subway Fresh Fit 500, and we're coming right down to it now. 56 laps to go. Carl Edwards
Somebody
is
get
the race
pulled
leader by 0.7 of a second over Jimmy Johnson. Dale Earnhardt Jr. runs in third. In fourth is Denny Hamlin, and fifth, Clint Boyer. Brad Keselowski's in sixth. Kevin Harvick seventh. Matt Kenseth just took over the eighth spot. Tony Stewart is ninth, and Joey Logano is 10th.
Taking you further down the AutoZone leaderboard, right now 11th, Jeff Gordon, Mark Martin, the pole sitter, he's 12th. Juan Pablo Montoya, 13th. Greg Biffle, 14th. 15th is Jeff Burton. 16th, Paul Menard. A.J. Allmendinger is 17th. Derek Almirola is 18th. 19th, Marcus Ambrose. And Ricky Stenhouse Jr., he's 20th.
21st is Jamie McMurray. 22nd is Casey Mears. Kyle Busch now runs in the 23rd position. 24th is Casey Kane. Kurt Busch is 25th. Bobby Labonte, 26th. And David Rudiman, 27th. J.J. Yaley is at 28th. David Stremme, 29th. That's the last car on the lead lap. And in 30th, now Travis Quaffle.
31st, Landon Castle. 32nd, Joe Nemechek. Ken Schrader. 33rd, Dave Blaney. 34th. 35th is Josh Wise out of the race in 36th. David Gilliland. Still on the racetrack, soldiering on, is Martin Truex Jr. 37th. Out of the race, David Reagan, 38th. 39th to Danica Patrick. Ryan Newman, 40th. Scott Speed, he is 41st. 42nd to Mike Bliss. 43rd is Scott Riggs, and that's a look at the AutoZone leaderboard. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
One of the earlier leaders of today's race, Brad Keselowski, on the move once again. He is swept by Clint Boyer, and Brad is back up into the fifth position. Speed, very important. Track position, very important. What probably is the most important thing now is who has enough fuel to make it to the end of the race. Let's find out about that as we take a sweep down pit road now. Brought to you by Progressive Commercial Auto Insurance. Wherever your business takes you, nobody keeps you on the road like Progressive Commercial Auto. Visit Progressive.com for a free quote today. What are they saying in your area, Winston Kelly?
Well, they last came in on lap 238. It gives us 74 laps to go. We had a couple more caution flag laps. We told you at the top of the broadcast, we were hearing from most of the guys, they could go about 75. So conventional wisdom would say everybody is good to go. But we talked to some of the crew chiefs who said it's going to be very, very close. One of those, Matt Fuchsia, who calls the shots for Greg Biffle. Another one, Rodney Childers, who calls for Mark Martin. They said they're still a little bit close based on the fuel mileage that they're getting, but everybody else on this end of pit road said they were good to go the rest of the way. Paul Menard, Joey Logano, Jeff Burton, Brad Keselowski, Denny Hamlin, all the guys on the lead lap think they're good to go, but green, white checker, all bets are off. Alex Hayden?
Well, we've got it divided up into three categories categories, Winston. Yes, no, and maybe. We heard the radio transmission a few moments ago for the Lowe's Chevrolet team of Jimmy Johnson and crew chief Chad Knaus. We can put them in the no category unless he figures out a way to save a gallon of gas. His Hendrick Motorsports teammate, Dale Earnhardt Jr., they say that they cannot make it the distance either. They will have to come back to the pit lane. In the maybe category is Kevin Harvick. Gil Martin gave me the signal that it's going to be awfully close. Now in the yes category, who can make it are Juan Pablo Montoya and Casey Kane. Also Ricky Stenhouse Jr., our in-race reporter. All three of those teams say Steve Post if they can definitely make it.
All right, I've got three categories. The first one is a shoulder shrug. That's Alan Gustafson, crew chief for Jeff Gordon on the drive to Hunter Chevrolet, so I have no clue what a shoulder shrug means. Close, Matt Kenseth and Tony Stewart. Both those crew chiefs say they think they're close, they think they're all right. Rick Warriors crew chief Brian Fatty says they're good. Now, race leader Carl Edwards checked in. Jack Roush, the team owner, and Jack is very involved in it. I hung a little note up there. It said, can you make it on fuel? Jack gave me a thumbs up and smiled. He's a happy man sitting on top of that pit box right now because they think they can go the distance and they have that track position as well.
Well, if they've got fuel and we stay green, and of course if Carl Edwards can keep that Ford out front, they'll all be very happy. And they'll celebrate Victory Lane a win in the Subway Fresh Fit 500. But right now he is working through some lap traffic, trying to put some distance between himself and Jimmy Johnson, who goes second, Dale Earnhardt Jr. third, Denny Hamlin, he's in a battle of his own with Brad Keselowski. We'll pick up that battle here in just a few moments. 47 laps remain.
Working on your brakes? CarQuest Auto Parts has everything you need to do the job right, including great values like CRC non-fluorinated brake clean in the 14-ounce can. Buy one at regular price, get the second one free after mail-in rebate. See store for details now through March 30th at participating CarQuest Auto Parts locations or visit carquest.com. Great people, great products, great prices.
Hey race fans, Clip Warrior here. You know I drive the 5-Hour Energy Toyota, but did you know I used to use 5-Hour Energy before I ever started driving for them? It's true. I like to stay active. So whether I'm hunting, cruising on my jet ski, or riding my motorcycle, I need energy. And 5-Hour Energy gives me the alert, energized feeling I need to enjoy all these activities and more. It works for me, and it'll work for you too. For more information, go to 5hourenergy.com.
Before the break, I mentioned that Brad Keselowski and Denny Hamlin having a battle of their own. Well, Brad won it, at least for now. He goes to fourth. Hamlin back to fifth, and there's company there also. Clint Boyer not too far back. Out front, Carl Edwards, a 1.4-second advantage over Jimmy Johnson. Then it's Dale Earnhardt Jr., Brad Keselowski, and Denny Hamlin. We've got 44 to go from Phoenix International Raceway. This is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
You can't be serious about camping if you haven't seen Haylett Auto and RV. The 11-acre superstore. Haylett has it all. Tent campers, travel trailers, fifth wheels, motorhomes, toy box carriers, living quarter horse haulers, livestock and utility trailers. The best brands, the best prices. Haylett has it all. Parts, Haylett has them. Accessories, ditto. How's about a hitch? Haylett has one for whatever you're pulling. Service? Yes, sir. Rentals? Absolutely. If Dave was a name dropper, you'd recognize Jayco, Rockwood, Cherokee, Springdale, Summerland, Greystone, all the RV biggies. Haylett has the biggies in horse, livestock, and utility trailers too. Sundowner, Exus, Adams, Cornpro, Sooner, U.S. Cargo. You figure out this is no rinky-dink outfit yet? The only place you'll see as much inventory as you'll see on the ground at Haylett Auto and RV is online at HaylettAutoandRV.com. Everything's a sale day. Come save with Dave at Haylett Auto and RV, just east of I-69, exit 13 on US 12, Coldwater, Michigan, and online at HaylettAutoandRV.com.
Hi, this is Casey Mears. Your racing action is on AM 1590 and FM 95.5 WTBB.
Back at Phoenix, 40 laps to go. Next time by for race leader Carl Edwards, Johnson second, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. is third.
Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Motor Racing Network.
The voice of Greenwich County for sports is AM 1590 and the new FM 95.5 WTBB Coldwater.
Just 40 laps to go in the Subway Fresh Fit 500 here at Phoenix International Raceway. Joe Moore and Jeff Striegel with live coverage here. Helped out Lane, Winston Kelly, Alex Hayden, Steve Poston in the garage, Jim Trados races see 12 lead changes among 9 different drivers. Service Master Clayton Caution has waved 7 times today. Currently 28 of the 43 starters are still on the lead lap.
Storylines that we talked about when we started our broadcast here at Phoenix International Raceway. Drivers that dug a hole at Daytona trying to dig their way out, put themselves in a good position as they leave Phoenix and head on to Las Vegas. Well, how about none other than Carl Edwards, who is 33rd at Daytona, a big hole, and doing everything he can, all he can. He's leading here at Phoenix.
We talked about trying to get things going in the right direction once you get into the regular season, which really starts here today. For Carl Edwards, he left Daytona 30th in the championship point standings. As of this moment, by leading here at Phoenix, he would gain 20 positions in the standings. That's amazing. Up to the 10th spot he would be after that dismal end of the day at Daytona. That certainly means a lot. Not to even mention the 70-race winless streak for Carl.
From the outside looking into right smack dab in the middle of it all. That's what Carl Edwards is trying to put himself right now. Here he comes off turn number 4. Carl Edwards will put another lap in the books, and that means we've got 36 remaining. Let's follow him around. Carl Edwards, race leader, up in turn 1.
Right to the bottom of the racetrack for Carl Edwards. That bright yellow subway forward, but Jimmy Johnson appears to be closing just a bit. About 5 to 6 car lengths between the top 2.
That distance really has relatively remained static over the course of the last 20 laps. For the moment, Carl Edwards able to hold Jimmy Johnson at bay. The man on the move with Brad Keselowski. We found the late second front and led the lead race.
I know a caravan just stopped on the side of the road.
Made the pass by Dale Earnhardt Jr. just a couple of laps ago.
Denso on the inside of the margin. Keselowski comes to turns 3 and 4. He's not caught at the bottom of the racetrack. He's right down the middle groove and just sliding the car on turn 4 either.
Carl Edwards got a win here at Phoenix in 2010. Jimmy Johnson, he's got 4 wins here at Phoenix, and Brad Keselowski
Did you pick the beer? Wait, is that some Twisted Tea I see in the back of the car? Come on.
See with 54.
You are. Twisted Tea.
That's it for
Real
now.
tea taste with a K?
I don't know. One of the guys must have
Bye-bye.
seen it in there.
Oh, come
Thanks
on.
for watching.